So today's lesson is on relative pronouns. Make sure you have your language arts notebook and you open to a brand new page. And on the top, you're going to write relative pronouns. So let's get started. The objective. Skip a line right after your title. You're going to write objective. I can use relative pronouns who, whom, which, and that. Say it out loud with me. I can use relative pronouns who, whom, which, and that. Say it one more time now to your talking buddy. I can use relative pronouns such as who, whom, which, and that. Remember, anytime you see the pen tool emoji on the screen, that means you need to write it down in your notebook. So, what is a relative pronoun? We have talked about pronouns now, but now we're talking and adding on to it, such as a relative pronoun. So, an examples of regular pronouns would be he, she, him, and I. But what makes it a relative pronoun? A relative pronoun is used in relative clauses. And relative clauses are a group of words that tell us more about the noun. So, relative means think of it as like your relative, right? It's associated with other groups of words, but that gives us more information about our noun, such as example relative pronouns would be that, who, whose, which, and whom. You need to pause the video at any time to write down the notes. You may do so. Here's an example. The girl who ordered extra lemon is standing over there. Our relative pronoun in this sentence would be who, because they're talking more about the noun of the girl. What did she do? What was her action? She ordered extra lemon. Who ordered extra lemon? The girl. Here is another example. The lemon recipe that we use is my grandma's. So our relative pronoun here will be that. Relative pronouns who, whose, and whom. When we're talking about the relative pronoun of who, we're often referring to the subject, which is the person completing the action. When we're talking about whom, we're talking about the object, and this is the person receiving the action. Whose refers to the possession. Make sure you copy these notes down. Relative pronouns, tricks for who and whom. So for who, because we're talking about the subject, right? We know that it can be replaced by other pronouns as well, such as I, he, she, we, they, and whom. Whom refers to the object, and it can be replaced by the pronouns such as him, her, us, them, and whom. So we see the word whom, we can replace easily with another regular pronoun such as him, her, us, them, and whom. Let's do some examples together. So we're going to decide which of the three relative pronouns fit better in these two sentences. So your option will be who, whose, or whom. So the number one would be the girl with the blank I worked was very quiet. So why don't we read through each example to see which one fits the best? The girl with who I worked was very quiet. The girl whose I worked was very quiet. Or the girl whom I worked was very quiet. Go ahead and solve this example in your notebook. Give you a couple of minutes, seconds. Did you finish writing it down? Did you pick your best answer? If you said whom, you are correct. The girl with whom I worked was very quiet. Let's do another example together. Does anyone know blank backpack this is? Let's plug in each word to see which one best fits. Does anyone know who backpack is this? This is? Does anyone know whose backpack this is? Or does anyone know whom backpack this is? If you said whose, you're correct. Does anyone know whose backpack is this? Make sure you write down these examples. So, what happens if we're talking about our he and him? And there's a special rule to follow when the he and him pronouns pop up in sentences. If you're using the word he, you can also choose the word who. So you could swap them in the sentence. Here's an example. Who is running the lemonade stand? He is running the lemonade stand. See how we switch the word who for he? And then if it's the word for him, we switch it out for whom. For example, whom is running the lemonade stand? And the indicator will be him. So if you can use the word him, you can also swap it out for the word whom. To whom do I pay for the lemonade? You pay he for who for the lemonade? No, that doesn't sound correct, right? You pay him for the lemonade? We can switch it for the word whom. You pay who to whom do you pay the lemonade to? You pay him. Let's talk about relative clauses. Please do copy this page down. I just noticed I missed the emoji pen tool. But either way, this page is very important to copy down, so make sure you have it in your notebook. Relative clauses. Relative clauses give us more information about the word or an idea. So here's an example of a relative clause with the relative pronoun. The movie that I bought at the store was about a lion. A relative pronoun in this sentence would be the word that. And our relative clause would be I bought at the store was about a lion. Because they're telling us of what kind of movie they bought, right? It gives us more information about the movie she got. So our relative pronoun would be that, and our relative clause would be the ones underlined. I bought at the store was about a lion. Here's another example. Our favorite restaurant, which served delicious cookies, closed last week. So look for our relative pronoun, which is the word which, and our relative clauses gives us more information about the person's favorite restaurant. What did the favorite restaurant serve? It served delicious cookies. Let's do some examples together. Remember, relative clauses give us more information about the word or idea. So in the first example, please look for your relative pronoun. Go ahead and circle it, make it bold, and then you will underline the relative clause. So I have no patience for people who interrupt others. Go ahead and circle your relative pronoun and underline your relative clause. If you said that your relative pronoun is who, you're correct. And our relative clause will be who interrupts other people. I have no patience for people who interrupt others. What kind of people we don't have patience for? Who interrupt others. Let's do another example. We saw the teacher whom we had spoken earlier. We saw the teacher whom we had spoken earlier. Circle your relative pronoun and underline the relative clause. Make sure you're working these out in your notebook. You ready? If you said that whom was a relative pronoun, you are correct. We saw the teacher whom we had spoken earlier. What teacher that whom we spoken earlier? Because it's giving us more information. Now is your turn. Let's see those notes on Seesaw. Please upload a photo of your notes. Make sure you have written that down completely to receive full credit. And there will be some practice problems on Seesaw on relative clauses and relative pronouns. There will also be a fun sing-along video.